Our national anthem from Yvette Girard Field at Lamson Park as we get set for the Raging Cajuns taking on the Golden Hurricane. It's game number 5 for Louisiana in the Louisiana Classics tournament. This Tulsa squad had struggled in its first 3 games. They had played those 3 games in Lake Charles. They lost to North Texas by a score of 6-3, lost to UAB 5-1, and then were shut out by McNeese. But they sort of got the bats going in the game earlier today. They end up scoring those 13 runs on 16 hits in a game that they were down 8-0 and 10-2. In fact, they were 1 out away from being run ruled in the 5th inning, 10-2. But they did score 6 runs in that inning and got themselves back in it, and then played several extra innings before we were finally able to decide that one in the bottom of the 12th inning. And that has pushed this one back, obviously, from a scheduled noon start to this one. As UAB, they have to be disappointed after the way that one went. One lady that's not disappointed so far this year, Kendra Lamb, the junior from New South Wales, Australia. Brendan, she has been a force for this team for a while.
She has, and it's she's going to continue to be, and she's going to be the one that Coach Robichaux and Coach Glasgow look to carry on the season. She's going to pitch off of her rise ball, about 67 to 69. She's got a lot of deception with that pitch and the way she delivers the ball. Has pitchability. She's able to pitch both sides of the plate, up and down. She's working more on some down pitches, spotting low in the zone. But the real thing that they like about her is that she doesn't get spooked. She doesn't let the moment get too big for her. She's able to execute pitches when she needs to.
Starting lineup for the Golden Hurricane, right up there at the top of the order, Kylie Norwood had a solid season last year. Really led the way offensively for this Tulsa team. Hit .396. That was the second best mark in the entire American Conference. First team all-conference pick. Started every game last year. So far this year, going into today, she was hitting 125 as the first pitch from Lamb is up high for ball 1. Norwood now at 214. 3 for 14 this year, does have a triple. No runs batted in yet. But her numbers should continue to go up throughout the season as Lamb misses outside. 2 balls, no strikes, and Brennan, this is something that she did not do in that first game that she pitched earlier this year. She did not fall behind hitters.
No, she did not. Hopefully she gets settled in here after the first couple innings, first couple batters, and gets settled in.
2-0 pitch from Lamb. That is in for call strike 1. Good crowd on hand this afternoon for this last game of the Louisiana Classics tournament, and they've been waiting around for a while. Most of them got here about noon, anticipating that the Cajuns would be playing, and they got a chance to see some pretty good play, some very close game, obviously, in that first game today. 2-1 from Lamb on the outside corner. You get the fist pump from the always excitable Sophie Piskus behind the plate as she got the strike call. Lamb pitched 35 games last year, started 28 to help lead the Cajuns to that regular season and tournament title in the Sun Belt. 2-2 to Norwood. That's on the outside corner, call strike 3. Kim Ortego working the plate today. Eddie Bourne at first base, Kevin Davis at third. They're our umpire crew as Lamb records her first strikeout of the day.
She pretty much lived on the outside corner right there. So let's see moving forward if she's able to establish that side of the plate and keep attacking it.
Lamb had 8 strikeouts in her first appearance this year as Haley Morgan will stand in, the sophomore center fielder, hitting .429 this year. She is sharing the team lead right now after that first game. Morgan was 4 for 6 with 3 runs batted in the win over UAB earlier. 1-0 from Lamb is up high and away.
And there's that rise that Kendra's going to try to get ahead with.
Lamb will face a lineup that's got 6 righties, 3 lefties. 1-1 is lined to right field, but coming on quickly is the right fielder, Jenna Keene. She'll make the grab for the second out.
Great play there. Those balls are kind of tricky as an outfielder, kind of hit off the end of the bat. It makes a funny little sound, and so you kind of have to make a split-second decision whether to come in or go back. Great read.
And of course, I'm standing next to one of the better outfielders the Cajuns have had in a long time. He can make that call out there. Imani Edwards will stand in with 2 outs. Sophomore shortstop hitting .250 on the year. 4 hits, including a triple and a run batted in. Lamb seems to have settled down now after those first couple of pitches that were well out of the zone, and it looks like she's sort of found her mark. That pitch also in for call strike 2. Edwards has a little local connection.
She does. Her brother and I actually played together here at UL. Izzy Edwards. Ishmael Edwards is in the seats somewhere today.
The rhythmic clapping starts with the 2 strikes, looking to get out of the inning, but that one misses a little bit outside.
Izzy was a grad assistant with us my first year here at UL. And so, he's coaching his sister up in the stands. Coach at heart.
"17 wins for Lamb last year and 164 strikeouts in those 35 games. Big cut and a miss. Edwards goes down swinging for the 3rd out of the inning. Up and down for the Hurricane. At the top of the 1st, we'll go to the 5'10" sophomore from Pawnee, Oklahoma. No record so far this year. She's appeared in 2 games through 3 2/3 innings. And she'll face this potent Cajun lineup. Stormy Kotzlenik will lead things off, the second baseman. Hitting .556 this year. She is 5 for 9 already. 3 of her 5 hits have been for extra bases.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid start, especially for a freshman. Coming in, may have a little bit of nerves, but she hasn't shown any at all.
Top 4 hitters in the Cajun order today. Obviously, it's early in the season, but the top 4 all hitting .500 or better. And you know that Coach Jerry Glasgow likes to see those numbers because at heart, he's an offensive guy.
Well, there's an old saying in baseball is if you can hit, they'll find a place for you. So he's going to have trouble if these girls keep hitting the way they are.
1-1 pitch catches the outside corner. And Lamas Howe out front, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Seems like that outer half to lefties too. That umpire really likes it there. So look for that going forward.
Right-hander's got the sign from the dugout. And here comes the 1-2. Misses outside. Lamas Howe appeared in only 4 games in 2020. 1-1 record. She comes from an athletic family. Her mom played basketball at Northern Oklahoma. Two is grounded foul over toward the Cajun dugout. And will again be 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good count to see maybe what other pitches she has other than that fastball that she showed early. See if she tries to get her with a rise or a changeup, maybe a curveball. See what else she's got. It's a good count for something to put away with.
Outfield respecting some of Kotzlenik's power. Played just a little bit deep. This one's a liner, but right at the third baseman Skaggs. And Claria Skaggs makes the grab for the 1st out of the inning. And that's, I'm sure, a big out for Tulsa. You know, coming off that last game where they had so many clutch plays during the game, especially in extra innings. You know, you could almost feel like, you know, you don't want to let down, and, you know, getting that 1st out's got to be huge.
Well, definitely. It's a way to get in a rhythm, too. Start off with the game up and down like that earlier this morning. Try to get in a rhythm. Try to get some quick, easy outs early as you can.
Raina O'Neill hitting .600 on the year. 6 for 10 with a double. A couple of runs batted in.
she's one that Coach Glasgow and his staff are going to really look forward to as a leader this year, and as they should.
Debuted in 2021 and quickly showed her ability. She had 14 extra base hits, including 8 home runs. This one is lined to left field, but only having to go back a couple of steps is Celeste Wood. She makes the grab. So quickly 2 up and 2 gone for the Cajuns.
And enter Celeste Wood into the game. Let's see if she can carry over that kind of game that she had last game.
Boy, what a spectacular game. She had 8 runs batted in that game, including the game-winning hit. Sophie Piskus, the Cajun catcher. She's hitting .500 on the year, 5 for 10. Already has 2 home runs this year. Cajuns have 9 homers as a team through 4 games. And a big cut at that one fouls it off.
I think there's a dent in the bleachers out there in left field from that ball she hit yesterday.
And I'm sure she wasn't excited at all about it. She is the epitome of the lightning in a bottle.
And if I'm not mistaken, she was subbed into that game. I don't believe she started that game coming off the bench and having a big home run late in the game.
The 0-1 pitch, grounder over the head of the third baseman Skaggs into left field. And Piskus continues her hot hitting to start the year.
And there's that fire you see Dange get on first base. She's screaming, throwing signs up at her team. She's ready to roll.
Cajun assistant Lacey Prejean coaching first base, as you see. Wasn't an easy pitch to hit.
No, it wasn't. She did a really good job staying on top of that ball. Almost a little too much, but she hit it so hard into the ground that she got a lucky bounce on the back end.
That'll bring up Taylor Roman. The freshman. Throw down to second, and the ball gets away just off the mitt of the second baseman, Abby Jones. And Piskus has the stolen base, so she's in scoring position with 2 outs.
Might have even hit Piskus on the slide. Yep, looked like it hit her right on the calf right there. Deflected it.
It's a 1-strike count to Taylor Roman. Also played only 6 games last year before she was injured in a February 24th game against McNeese. Missed the rest of the year. Grounds this one on the right side into right field. They will send Piskus. There will be a throw to the plate. Not in time. RBI single for Taylor Roman. The Cajuns lead 1-0.
That's a great piece of hitting right there by Roman. Knowing the situation, knowing what kind of runner she's got on second base, not trying to do too much with it, slapping it out to right field and scoring a run. That's what she's going to be looked forward to do. She's going to be a big RBI girl for the Cajuns this year.
Already 8th run batted in of the year for Taylor Roman. And she is at first with 2 outs for Jordan Campbell, the sophomore third baseman. 1 for 7 so far this year with a couple of runs batted in. Transfer from Texas A&M. Native of Kingwood, Texas. Cajun coaches are very high on her. She started 26 games in the COVID-shortened season for the Aggies. This one's fouled away.
Looked like possibly a hit and run there. With Roman on the move.
Playing third base, and that was a position that the Cajuns looking to fill in the fall, and the newcomer from Kingwood, Texas, looks like she's more than filled the bill. Now just waiting to get her offensive attack going. Roman is at first. Cajun striking with 2 hits with 2 outs. This one's down low and in.
And you talked about finding her groove. It's a little tough early in the season. You've been practicing against your home teammates for so long, and you get used to them, and then all of a sudden you're hitting against somebody else. So it could take a little bit of time for everybody to get settled in and get their groove.
Line down the third base line. Jerry Glasgow with the move to get out of the way of that one. Yeah, it's cool. Everything's good.
Nice feet there by Coach Jerry.
So it's 2-2 to Campbell. If you're just joining us, Golden Hurricane went up and down in the top of the first. Cajuns strike for a run on 2 hits here in this inning. And did she go around? And they will say, no, she did not. Or has there even been an appeal? Now they'll appeal down, and first base umpire Eddie Bourne said, no, she didn't go around. So plate umpire Kim Ortego waiting for the request for the appeal now.
Oh, he was waiting. The first base umpire was ready too. Just ready for him to call him down. That's pretty close, Dan.
I agree with you. I think that was pretty close. Instead, full count, 3-2. And a ground ball again over toward the Cajun dugout. Yeah, I'm thinking there are a lot of times Lamas Howell would be out of the inning on that.
That's a good fight here. 3-2 count, run up the pitch count a little bit, especially with that last game going as long as it did. Having to use as many arms as they did in the last game, you kind of wonder, if they can rise a pitch count on this starter. How deep they are going on the back end. Lamas
Howell's actually the only pitcher on the roster that did not throw in that first game. Quick ground ball on 3-2 toward the third baseman. The scoop and the throw by Skaggs in time for the out. But the Cajuns do strike first in the bottom of the first on 2 hits. They lead at 1 player for the Golden Hurricanes. She led the team with 10 home runs during her senior year. She was the Offensive Player of the Year for Tulsa in both her junior and senior years and still holds the top 2 single-season assist records. They've actually got 4 Division I former softball players on the Tulsa coaching staff. As Celeste Wood will stand in, talk about a red-hot bat, hitting .429, 6 for 14 this year, but 5 of her 6 hits for extra bases. And had a huge game. I can't remember the last time I saw a player with 8 runs batted in a game.
That's pretty impressive.
Freshman from Muskogee, Oklahoma.
And then to top it all off with the walk-off hit at the end.
1-1 from Lamb. Big cut. That good pitch. Kept it down in and low.
Absolutely. It's hard to hit. Ball coming into you like that. Some lefties either love it or they hate it. Yep, right in on the hands right there. Rose a little bit at the end. Right above the barrel.
Lamb has 2 strikeouts already from the first 3 batters she faced in the first. And the 1-2 swung at and missed.
And there's that rise again. She's just getting right above everybody's barrel, swinging right underneath it. So far it's been effective. She's been sticking to her plan.
Lamb did have the 8 strikeouts against UAB in the very first game of the season. She threw only 5 innings in that, gave up 4 hits, but did strike out the 8. That was the game that the Cajuns won 2-0 on Friday. They then turned around right after that and won 23-0 in 4.5 innings against that same UAB team.
It's almost a football score, Dan.
Yeah, they missed the extra point, I guess. Kaylin Bearpaw, the right fielder, hitting .067, really trying to get on track. She's only 1 for 15 so far this year. She was 0 for 6 in that first game, so she would love nothing else than to break up her 0 for day.
And that's really tough on the middle side of everything. You start a day off going 0 for 6. Those add up pretty quick. Hopefully you don't let it drag on you too bad.
2-0 offering from the Australian right-hander. Big cut and a miss. And Bearpaw was behind that one.
Yeah, just a little bit late there, early in the year, still working out the kinks. trying to get her timing down.
2-1 pitch. Up a little high, 3 balls and 1 strike. Lamb competed for Australia's New South Wales under-19 squad. They won a national championship, and she was also picked to pitch in the 2017 Junior World Championship, played in Clearwater, Florida. 3-1 pitch is in for call strike 2. And that's what you were saying earlier when you were giving a scouting report on her. She doesn't get flustered. Down 3-1, comes back with the strike.
Comes with a great pitch, and as a hitter, 3-1, that's pretty much the pitch that I'm sitting on. Something over the heart of the plate, something that I can drive. Just looked a little out of sync.
The 3-2, a little nubber in the infield, but right at the second baseman, Kostelnik, and she is there for the second out. So 5 up and 5 down so far. Retired by Lamb, as she is picking up where she left off in the win on Friday against UAB. That'll bring up Abby Jones, a sophomore second baseman. 5 hits so far this year, 14 at-bats, and that way up and in. And to duck out of the way of that one. Jones, a sophomore from Spring, Texas. And got fooled a little bit on that pitch and quickly down, or back even, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And there's that deception we were talking about in the pregame, Dan. Sometimes you can't see that from in the booth or in the stands, but when you get in the box, it's a totally different ball game. They're seeing something a little bit different. It's kind of throwing them off a little bit.
Jones played in 26 games last year, got 16 starts in her first year, hit .214. The 2-1 again from Lamb. And that is on the outside corner one more time. And she has done a good job of hitting, just painting the plate on that side against the left-handed hitters.
Yep, she's staking her claim on that outer half, so she's going to live there until Tulsa decides that they want to hit it or they can make their own adjustments.
The 2-2 from Lamb. Big cut and a miss. 4th strikeout already for Kendra. And the Cajuns will take a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the second inning.
I would consider
Championship Sunday in the NCAA tournament. They've actually won the conference regular season and tournament title 2 times in the last 3 years. The only one they didn't was that COVID season of 2020 when everybody basically had to quit playing during March, and they were 18-6 that year. And some services had them ranked as the best team in the country before everybody had to stop playing.
Well, that's the standard here, and it started a long time ago. Softball's always a solid program, and they expect to be in a regional, super regional in the World Series every year. So that's the goal they attain.
Lainey Crater, the freshman, playing the DP, designated player spot today, 2 out of 4. She's got a home run already this year. That one's down low. Hometown's actually listed as Old Mines, Missouri, but she does have family in the Acadiana area, as you would imagine from that Crater name. This pitch is up high. Cajuns do have a lot of options at that DP spot because they've got a lot of players that can swing the bat with a lot of effectiveness. Crater actually born in Lafayette, although she spent most of her childhood up in the St. Louis area. 3-1, catches the outside corner. And Sarah Lamas-Howe on for her second inning of work, goes full on the first Cajun hitter. She retired the first 2 batters that she faced, but then Back-to-back singles by Sophie Piscos and Taylor Roman sandwiched around the stolen base, and the Cajuns were able to put a run up in the first. 3-2 offering is low and away. Crater draws the walk.
That's a great way to get the inning started. Puts a lot of pressure on the defense, especially to start the inning with nobody out. If you can get a runner on, you have a lot of options as a head coach, as an offensive coach, to put really whatever you want to do on.
The shortstop, Alexa Langeliers, one of the new faces on this team, a freshman, hitting .417. Cajuns will have a runner at first base as Kayla Falterman, freshman from the Woodlands, Texas, will be on the bags. Of course, softball, you can re-enter. Falterman 1 for 1 this year on stolen bases in limited time.
So with a little bit of speed on the bases, a hot hitter at the plate. Let's see if Coach Glasgow tries to force the issue and maybe put on a hit and run, or if he just lets his shortstop swing away.
Langeliers has actually started all 4 games, a couple of different positions, as this pitch is in for call strike 1.
It's always a touchy area when you have a hitter that's so hot and seeing the ball, hitting the ball really well. Do you try to put on a play? Do you try to force the issue, or do you just let him swing away? 5
hits this year already, 4 of them extra bases, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. And this one's down low. Hitting in the number 7 position. Cajuns have 5 freshmen in the starting lineup today among the 9 position players and the designated player. 2-1 is up high. And now Lamas Howe in danger of walking the first 2 batters she faces here in the second.
And this is an advantage count for the hitter, for the offense, so look for something to possibly be on here.
This one a little nubber. It hits fair, but then dribbles foul.
There was your hit and run there.
They were running with the speed at first.
With a 2-1 count, the pitcher doesn't want to fall behind, especially with nobody out, runner on first. She doesn't want to fall behind. 3-1 to a good hitter, especially like Langeliers. So she wants to attack her with a fastball, and that's a good count and a good situation to really put something on.
Here comes the 2-2. This one's lined to the shortstop. Is it picked? Was it bounced? Did it pick off the turf or what? Haven't seen a call yet, so.
From up here, it looks like she picked it off the ground.
Okay, well, they're leaving the runner at second base, so it'll just be a 1-out hopper as the shortstop Edwards was able to get over to Norwood in time for the first out of the inning. And Crater moved up to second base.
Looks like they're going to talk about it here, Dan.
Yep, head coach Chrissy Stemple, she might have seen it, and I don't know if we don't get a definitive look at it. Either way, they got the out at first base, and we'll keep it as it is, 1 out and a runner at second base.
Now batting for the Cajuns, left fielder number 3, Maddie Hayden.
So there's 1 gone for Maddie Hayden. The freshman from West Monroe playing left field today. Looking for her first hit of the year, although she scored 2 runs and has an RBI this year. And if that's a familiar name to Cajun softball fans, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, Sister Haley Hayden played here a couple years ago, so she's following in Big Sis's footsteps. I know her family's very excited. I know Haley's very excited that she's here, and Maddie's really excited to get her career started here as well.
And just like her sister, she's quick. 3 stolen bases in 3 attempts already. Langlear's at second base with one out. This one misses low and away.
And although she doesn't have a whole lot to show for it at the moment, she hit a ball really, really hard yesterday. 5 feet to the left or to the right. She's got her first hit as a Cajun, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
If you're just joining us, yes, we are early. The first game of the tournament today went not just overtime, it went way overtime, almost 4 hours before Tulsa's able to take a 13-12 win over UAB. That was their first win of the year after opening the season with 3 losses. Cajuns stand at 4-0, and they've been very impressive through those first 4. Grounded on the left side, foul. That'll even it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Kind of need a hit to score here, Dan, unless it's not quite like the same situation where it would be a runner on third. All you would really need to do here was put the ball in play. This particular situation with the runner at second, you kind of need a hit for a possibility of a scored run.
The 2-2 to Hayden. Ground ball on the left side. Runner moves on the hit. Throw from Edwards is not in time. And there you go, Maddie Hayden, her first hit as a Cajun. It comes on the infield ground ball that she just flat out beat out.
Yep, there's those softball gods. Squares up a ball yesterday, doesn't have a whole lot to show for it. Doesn't hit this one quite as hard, but it's a hit nonetheless.
I mean, Edwards did all she could, but you see there, Hayden easily in at first base ahead of the throw.
That's a line drive in the scorebook, Dan.
Yep. Looks just like the other hits the Cajuns have had. Now they've got 3. And Jenna Keene, the number 9 hitter, will come to the plate. But first there'll be a trip to the mound as the Hurricane will talk it over, and so will Coach Jerry Glasgow. This is the final game of the opening weekend Louisiana Classics tournament. Cajuns have been very impressive both in the field and at the plate, and especially in the circle. We talk about the offensive firepower this team has, but Brendan, they still have it. Their team ERA is still alt.
I think it's a little over 1, correct? Like 1.08 or something like that.
It's just crazy as you get a chance to see the Golden Hurricane defense. And I still can't get over, this is a team they could have easily just given up in that first game. They're down 8-0 before they even get 3 outs in the first inning. They're down 10-2 after an inning and a half, and they are 1 out away from having that game stopped after 4.5 innings. And then all of a sudden they rally for 6 runs in the 5th. They make it a ball game. They tie it up, and we're going a lot of extra innings before they finally just gutted it out at the end.
Tells you a lot about the resiliency and the heart of the team too, and that could pay dividends as the more that the season goes on.
Jenna Keene hitting in the number 9 spot. Bluffs the bunt as the Cajuns pull off the stolen base as Hayden heads to second with her 4th stolen base of the year in 4 attempts. Keene hitting .625. She is 5 for 8 on the year with a couple of runs batted in.
Looks like the corners are going to be in here, so you want to stay away. As a hitter, you want to stay away from the corners. Ideally, a ground ball up the middle or a deep fly ball anywhere will do the job. Anywhere other than soft at the corners.
Keene played in 50 games last year, started 17 times. 15 of those were in right field. But she was a huge stolen base threat. 29 steals in 32 attempts last year. Just gets a piece of that one and fouls it back.
Still a good count to hit in, still a good count to do damage. Wouldn't be a great situation to load the bases here with 1 out. So I'm looking for a fastball right here. I don't think she wants to fall behind me 3-1, so she's gonna probably try to get ahead and attack me with a fastball.
Keene transferred from Arizona. She played 110 games, started 82 games in her first 2 years for that powerful program. This one's on the outside corner, painted the outside part.
And that's a tough pitch to hit there. That's kind of the one where if you hit that ball, I don't know if you can do anything other than hit it to third base pretty soft, so that's not a bad take there.
Prime RBI position for Keene. Got 2 already this year as this one's fouled back. Count will stay 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hitting in the number 9 spot out of Los Alamitos, California.
That's a long way from home.
Here comes the 2-2 again. A little tapper, but the shortstop Edwards in the right place at the right time makes the little grab on that humpback liner. And 2 outs, and now Tulsa 1 out away from getting out of this with no damage. Go back to the top of the order, and Stormy Kutselnik lined out to lead off the game.
And these are the situations here where it could make or break a game when you look back at the end of it. 2-out RBI hits are very, very important.
First pitch from Sarah Lamas Howell is on the outside half for call strike 1.
On the baseball team, we called these situations backbreakers. Because as a defense, you're so close to getting out of the inning, but you still have that threat of the runners on base in scoring position. So if you can find a way as a hitter to get those runs across, it really, really demoralizes the team the more that the game goes on.
This one's low and away. This Tulsa team has played very good defense. Even though they struggled in those first 3 games, couldn't get anything going offensively. They only had 1 error in those first 3 games, and they had a couple in the game earlier today. UAB errors just killed them in a key part of the ball game. They ended up with 6 errors in that game. 1-1 pitch, grounder up the middle. This will get into center field. A 2-run single for the leadoff hitter Kutselnik, and it's 3-0.
It's a great piece of hitting right there. Nobody plays back behind the pitcher, so anytime you can hit it with pace right up the middle, you're in a good spot.
Crater scores, Hayden scores. Kutselnik with her 4th and 5th runs batted in of the season. The Cajuns continue their timely hitting.
And again, timely hitting, that's the name of the game.
That'll bring up Raina O'Neill, flied out to left field her first time up. Fouls the first pitch away as Kutselnik was moving on the swing.
Trying to get in scoring position there. Good hitter up with Raina O'Neill. Thinking if we can get in scoring position here with 2 outs, a base hit will surely score them.
Again, it's early in the year, but O'Neill hitting .545, .583 on base, .636 slugging mark. And hitting .750 with runners on base.
And here the cat and mouse game begins. Showed steal first pitch of the at bat. Now it's got Tulsa in the back of their mind thinking that she's going to steal. Do we pitch out? Do we continue to attack the hitter?
Goes on the pitch, throw down is not going to be in time. No, it's not. Yes. Delayed call just for a second, but Kutselnik is in with her first stolen base of the year.
And that was a close play, too. I think she might have slid on top of her foot. So if she wasn't on the bag there.
Nice job by the catcher, throwing from the knees.
Yep.
And I guess that foot got in. Yeah, it's
Looks
touching
like the
the
toe,
bag.
maybe.
Almost came off of it. So now an RBI spot for O'Neill with the runner at second and 2 outs. That one's back into the screen. And even up 2 balls and 2 strikes. O'Neill started her college career at Texas Tech. She started 55 games as a true freshman, hit 12 home runs. That was second in the Big 12, and the Big 12's a pretty good softball conference. Pitch is up high. We're full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
So 2-2 is usually a good count that the pitcher likes to be in. She's got a pitch to waste. She's got 2 strikes on her as well. So it's generally that her best pitch that she feels comfortable with, that she really feels comfortable getting people out with. That's what pitchers generally go to in 2-2 counts like that.
Here comes the 3-2. This one is fair ball down the third base line. Nicely played by Skaggs over to Norwood in time for the out. But the Cajuns strike for it's going to be a busy next week for the Cajuns. Tuesday night they'll be taking on Nichols right back here at Yvette Girard Field at Lamson Park, and then they'll have a little bit of a break before Alabama comes to town. The nationally ranked Crimson Tide, they'll play here at Lamson Park on February 24th. That's a Thursday night. Both of those games will air here on ESPN+. And then after that, the Cajuns will be part of a tournament being played nearby at the Youngsville Athletic Complex. 10 teams, they'll play 5 games in that tournament surrounding Mardi Gras. Michaela Jackson leads things off for Tulsa here in the top of the 3rd inning, the sophomore designated player. 2 for 8 this year with an RBI, and swings and misses to fall behind. No balls, 2 strikes.
And there's the 2 talking points from earlier. It's continuing to be a theme here. Fastball away, and you got rise up. And Tulsa hasn't made an adjustment yet.
4 strikeouts already for Kendra Lamb. She's retired all 6 that she's faced. As this one hops up, it'll be 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jackson, a sophomore from Oklahoma City. Here comes the 1-2. Went after the, looked like a drop ball, and Kendra Lamb records her 5th strikeout already.
That's just a good pitch there, just well located. She would have hit it. It's really tough to do real damage with that pitch. That's just a good pitch by Kendra.
Clara Skaggs, the 3rd baseman, looking for her first hit of the year. She is 0 for 13 to start things out with 5 strikeouts. She was 0 for 6 in the game earlier today, and the lefty starts out with a swing and a miss. Lamb, of course, was really divided time with Summer Ellison last year as the Ellison finished up her record-setting career. And now she is the unquestioned #1 in the Cajun rotation that has already had 5 pitchers see action this year. And Jerry Glasgow said that he was going to use a lot of pitchers hopefully this weekend, and he's been able to do that.
And it's going to take a lot of pressure off of Kendra the more the season goes on. She doesn't have to bear that big of a load where she feels like she has to go out there every night and throw 6 or 7 innings.
The 0-2 to Skaggs, big swing and a miss. And that's number 6 out of 8 hitters. The only players that have put it in play are Haley Morgan with a fly ball and Kaylin Bearpaw with an infield pop-up. The number 9 hitter, Riley Keith, will stand in. 3 for 13 this year, hitting .231. She was 2 for 6 in the first game with an RBI. And that RBI came in one of the extra innings and continued the game for Tulsa. The 1-strike pitch from Lamb. A little bit inside, evens up at 1-1. Keith, a sophomore from Ardmore, Oklahoma, went to Seminole State.
Even though that was a ball right there, that was a tough pitch to lay off of. It was really competitive. And that's what you ask for in your pitchers. You don't necessarily have to be throwing strikes the whole time as long as all your pitches are competitive and they're probably inducing swings.
1-1 is on the inside corner, right on the hands, and it's 1-2. And that's just what you were talking about, another one.
Well, it helps when you can paint the inside corner, too.
The 1-2 from Lamb, swing and a miss, and she struck out the side in the third inning. 7 strikeouts for Kendra Lamb, and the Cajuns lead it 3-0, going to the.
To perform, you need speed, skill, strength. With every muscle, every move, you push your body to reach its full potential. But sometimes you just can't push through the pain. That's when you know it's time to address it. So when injury puts you on the sidelines, trust us to get you back in the game. Lourdes Sports Care, the team behind your team.
This is the first of 3 straight tournaments for Tulsa's Golden Hurricane. In fact, the second one they'll play will also be here in Louisiana. They'll be playing in a tournament in Ruston with Louisiana Tech and Sam Houston. They'll take on both of those teams twice there. From there, they'll head to Austin. They'll play a tournament hosted by the University of Texas. Before they finally will get to go home, they won't play their first home game until March the 4th. And that will also be in a tournament, their own tournament, with DePaul, Minnesota, and Stanford playing in that one. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, Sophie Piskus will lead things off for the Cajuns. Scored the first run of the ball game when she got a 2-out single in the first and came around to score on Taylor Roman's single. Cajuns have 3 2-out hits, and Brennan, you made mention of that earlier, how almost a backbreaker for a team to get that close to getting out of the inning. This one's lined into left center field. This is going to go up the gap and all the way to the wall. One hops off the wall. And the always excitable one is at second base to lead off the inning.
Well, there she is. You can see she's probably the spark of this team, as she proved to be 2 innings ago. So let's see if she can spark another rally here in the third.
You never have to question if she enjoys the game.
Well, you can see the intensity in her eyes. Right there.
Well, she's at second base with nobody out, and Taylor Roman, who singled home a run back in the first inning, fouls this one back.
It's really fun to play with players like that, too, that are so intense and that you can tell really, really care about the game. They bring that added little edge to everybody, and they make everybody better. And even though you may have somebody a little bit more on the quiet spectrum, she'll bring it out in them.
0-1 pitch from Sarah Lamas-Howe is popped up in foul ground, but it will find the netting. Taylor Roman, of course, the daughter of Mark Roman, an NFL standout from 2000 till 2009 for the Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers, but also for the Cincinnati Bengals, who play in the Super Bowl later today. Oh, 2 pitch stays up high, and it's 1 ball, 2 strike. But it's not just her dad that she gets that athletic ability from. Her mom was a track standout at LSU. Her aunt competed in track at UCLA. This one's fouled away. Count will remain 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, I know family comes first, and I'm sure Dad's really, really happy and watching his daughter play, but I'm sure he was a little uneasy seeing that first game get pushed back so much. It might be cutting into his Super Bowl time.
I think we were all wondering how many innings that one was really going to go. This one's a little liner, easily hit toward the shortstop Edwards, but she's able to make the play as Piskus moves up to third.
Well, that was a great read there. Ball kind of hit. Looked like it jammed her a little bit, so it didn't come real hard off the bat. And those are kind of in between. The general rule is if a ball's at you or behind you, you'll advance to the next base. but she did a really, really good job there getting to third base with less than 2 outs to end up with a score situation.
And Edwards also plays a pretty deep shortstop, so a lot of confidence in her arm, obviously, but that does allow, occasionally in that situation, a runner being able to move up to third with 1 out. As Jordan Campbell stands in, grounded out her first time up. Ground ball toward the shortstop, picked off by the third baseman, but Skaggs can't handle it cleanly, and Piskus will score on the play, and it's 4-0. Looked like it was headed toward Edwards again, but Skaggs got the glove on it, trying to cut it off.
And just a great read by Piskus again, reading the hop, kind of a high hopper. She took a chance, put the pressure on the defense, ended up paying off, got another run out of it. Cajuns 4-0.
Still waiting to see how that will be scored. I would think it would probably be an error on the third baseman. Campbell would probably get the RBI anyway because Piskus looks like she was gone on the hit. And they will give her the base hit. So an infield hit for Jordan Campbell and the RBI. That's her third RBI of the year. Zelaney Crater, the designated player, walked and scored back in the second. Swing just to disrupt the pitch, and headed to second with the stolen base is Jordan Campbell.
And that was another hit and run there. You see the runner take off. Pitch was way outside, but you just have to swing and try to protect that runner the best you can.
First stolen base of the year for Campbell, and Louisiana again with runner in scoring position. Crater takes this one outside, evens it up at a ball and a strike.
It always seems like when we put hit and runs on, it was a pitch that you couldn't even touch if you wanted to. Didn't make it easy on you in the box.
Runner goes on the pitch, throw down this time though to third, and they got her. Pretty good throw by the catcher Keith.
Looked like maybe another hit and run there. Pitch again way outside. Runner goes. Looks like she just tried to protect her.
Cajuns are going to be aggressive. We know that going in, but every once in a while when you are aggressive, things like that will happen. 1-2 now to Crater. Louisiana already with 1 run this inning. They've scored in every inning so far. This one is wide into center field for a base hit. 7th hit of the ball game for the Cajuns.
When you talk about living by the sword, dying by the sword, Dan, that's base hit up the middle. If the runner at second knows where her fielders are playing behind her, I mean, that's possibly another run there. So that's the risk you take, but great swing.
So Crater is at first with 2 outs. And Alexa Langlier, the shortstop, grounded out her first time up. Hitting .385 as she stands in and takes the first pitch in from Sarah Lamas-Howell for call strike. This is the 3rd outing for Lamas-Howell this year. She came into 2 other games in relief. Opponents were only hitting .214 against her coming into today. But a lot of pitchers are going to have trouble with this Louisiana lineup this year.
If I'm Crater here, I'm trying to find any way possible to get to second base, get in scoring position with 2 outs. Hit'll drive you in.
This one's fouled back. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes on Langliers, hitting 7th in the order.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a steal. It could be a pass ball. It could be a ball in the dirt. Something out of the ordinary where she's willing to take a chance to get to second base.
Langliers, one of the 5 freshmen to start for Louisiana today out of Keller, Texas. Nubs this one foul over toward the Golden Hurricane dugout. Lacey Prejean was ready to make that play if need be, and from the coach's box. Langoliers with 4 extra base hits already this year. This one's up high.
Got a good at-bat going. Good battle here. Fell behind early, got it back to even counts. Again, that's that 2-2 count. Let's see what she feels comfortable with. Trying to put her away here.
And in case you're wondering, it's a good bit warmer now than it was when we got here earlier today, as this pitch misses outside. And it's full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Crater's probably going to be on the move here at first base. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ball with Walker.
Nubbed foul again over toward the Cajun dugout. We'll be back here Tuesday night. The Colonels of Nichols will come to town. Another 6 p.m. game. The first non-tournament regular season game for the Raging Cajuns. And they play 2 more home games next week, or after this one, before the Youngsville tournament. This one's grounded just outside the bag at third base.
If I'm the defense here, particularly the outfielders, I might play a step or 2 or 3 back. Wind looks like it's blowing out a little bit. I don't want that runner to score all the way from first. I want to be able to keep that ball in front of me and prevent another run from coming across late.
3-2. Little nubber, and it's going to be over the head of the third baseman Skaggs and off of Edwards' glove. Quick throw to second base, diving back in as Edwards tried to throw behind the runner, but Crater put the brakes on, turned around, and got back to second. And now the Cajuns with 2 runners on base with 2 outs.
I think she heard me talking about hitting the ball deep out in the outfield, and she just blooped one right over third base.
Cajuns will come with a pinch runner as Kramer Este, the freshman from Brenham, Texas, will come on in a run situation. Este's got 2 starts already this year. She's got 1 stolen base, so getting that speed out at second base with 2 outs. So now the Cajuns will actually have a new designated player next time they come through the lineup, because that'll be the second time that Crater's been run for. But they do have a lot of depth at that position. Have a lot of big bats that they can position somewhere in the lineup. So Maddie Hayden will stand in. Got her first hit as a Cajun last time up in the second inning, and came around to score on Kutselnik's 2-run single. Pitch from Lamas Howell misses outside.
But here she comes up again in a big bag breaker situation like we talked about earlier, Dan. Possibility of getting a run, another insurance run across. Infielders are going to be deep, except for the third base, going to protect against the bunt.
1-0 pitch. That one's down low. And it's 2 balls and no strikes, as Lamas Howell's had to throw a good number of pitches, even though the Cajuns do have the 8 hits. This will be her 75th pitch in the game, and we're still in the 3rd inning.
And again, we'll see the effects of last game and the depth of their pitching staff the more that this drags on.
This is on the outside corner for call strike 1. A couple of the Hurricane pitchers, Mackenzie Brown and Kylie Nash, only threw 2/3 of an inning in that first game before Samantha Pochop came on, and she was the workhorse. She threw the last 10 2/3 innings. Did not give up an earned run. Got a well-deserved victory in that game. This one misses low. Este bluffed out at second base, but held up. As now Hayden has the hitter's count.
Looking dead red fastball here.
Liner past the glove of Skaggs at third base. Rounding third, hit it home is Este. She will score easily, and it's a 5-0 game. A nice piece of hitting by Maddie Hayden with her second hit of the game.
And another insurance run tacked on.
Somewhere there's an older sister, Haley, that had to like what she saw there.
Absolutely. I was talking to Haley yesterday, asking her how she was liking seeing her sister following the footsteps, and she was pretty critical of her sister, so I hope she has some better things to say about her today. I'm sure she will. She's doing really well.
They look a lot alike on the field.
They do.
I mean, they do so many things very similar. And speaking of a lot of depth in the lineup as far as hitters, Carly Heath will come on to pinch hit for Jenna Keene. Heath already with a 2-for-4 season, but one of those was a towering home run over the scoreboard in right field. That came during that 23-0 win over UAB. First pitch is in from Lamas Howell for strike one. Heath had played in a position role for part of their time last year, but this year concentrating on pitching and DHing, basically. Misses outside.
And I had talked to Coach Robichaud early in the year before the year had started, asking him how he was adjusting to his pitching staff in the softball game and what kind of staff he was having. And he mentioned Carly, and he said she's really starting to come in her own, really starting to figure out how to pitch. And he's looking at her as a dark horse.
This one's line to right field. One hops off the wall. One run will score. They will send the runner. We're going to have a throw to the plate. Not in time. Two-run double for Carly Heath. Just like that, it's 7-0.
To finish that thought, Coach Robichaud was very excited about her on the mound, or in the circle, excuse me. She's showing she can swing it too. Pitch there was just left right over the heart of the plate. Great job by Carly, getting the bat hat out.
She hit
a solid ball down the line.
Yep, hit 278 last year, but 8 home runs, including her 14 extra base hits. So there's no question that she's going to be a part of this offensive lineup, but you'll also see her regular rotation in the circle. She's thrown an inning in the third this year in one of the Cajun earlier games. That was last night against Texas Southern.
And that's just a great tool for the coaches to have somebody to be able to do both. You kind of put in a bunch of different situations, specialty situations. It's a great tool to have.
1 in the first for Louisiana, 2 in the second, and then 4 runs on 6 hits here in the third inning. They've already got double-digit hits in this one, 10 hits. And they'll go back to the top of the order, and Stormy Kotselnik, who's 1 for 2. She had 2 of those runs batted in the second inning with a 2-out single. And again, Brennan, all this going on with 2 outs. Pitch gets away, and Heath will move up to third base.
Yeah, it tells you a lot about a team when you can get 2 outs and still manufacture 2, 3, 4 runs in an inning, especially starting from nothing, whether it be nobody on base, 2 outs. To be able to manufacture 2, 3, 4 runs with 2 outs speaks volumes of the team.
Wild pitch for Lamas Howell. That's her first of the year, as the 1-0 is skied to left, but it'll be in foul ground.
Because some people with 2 outs, obviously, you get 1 more out, you're out of the inning, 1 more strike, you strike out, etc. The teams that are able to compete and to really manufacture with 2 outs starting from nothing, you can tell that the game doesn't faze them a whole lot. They're just business as usual. They're getting in there, they're competing, and they're succeeding.
Kotselnik, a freshman, hometown of Carmel, Indiana, but played her first year at Washington. Grounds this one back to the box. Lamas Howell makes the play for the 3rd out, but not before the Cajuns pick up 4, and they'll take a 7-0 lead into the 4th.
Help me.
Who is that? Who's there?
Help me.
But I'm scared that the picture quality will suffer in such low light.
What? It'll be fine. Help me.
What about the close-up on my petrified face?
Yeah, that looks really good. Help me.
Can I just turn on the light?
No. Take down the stairs.
Love Every is a support system for parents and toys for your little one. Everything in the box is designed by experts for each stage of your child's development. We link brain science and Montessori to the way you play. Every 2 to 3 months, a play kit is delivered to your home. It's matched to your child's age and what they are hungry to learn. We've done all the research, so you don't have to. Love Every provides the map to help you confidently guide your child's learning. Unlock the joy of intentional play.
If that particular play doesn't happen, I don't know what happens with my career beyond that.
Celebrate Valentine's Day for less with Kohl's. Get up to 60% off jewelry, 25% off festive pajamas, and 25% off cozy home finds. Plus, save even more with the Kohl's card and earn Kohl's Cash. Kohl's.
Louisiana claimed the regular season Sun Belt Conference Championship last year. They went 21-3 during the regular season in conference play. Of course, they went 47-12 overall. Cajuns all-time 86.5% victories in Sun Belt Conference play. They've won 16 tournament titles and 17 regular season titles. I would call that domination.
That's outstanding. Yeah, and like I said earlier, that's the standard that they live by here, and that's what they plan to uphold going forward.
That was Ari Quinones who has checked in. She will be at second base as Kendra Lamb hits the outside corner with her first offering to Kylie Norwood to lead off the 4th inning. Norwood went down on a call strike her first time up, one of the 7 strikeouts that Lamb has through the first 9 Tulsa hitters. This one misses up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Norwood now hitting 200 on the year. Led this team in hitting last year and ranked 2nd in the American Athletic Conference. Just under 400. This one just misses outside and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Louisiana with 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and a 4 spot in the third. Two-one from Lamb, still trying to catch that outside corner, but hadn't gotten the outside corner this at bat, and down 3 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, it looks like it's just missing on that outer half. Sitting dead red fastball here again.
Here comes the 3-1, and this one misses a little bit more outside, ball 4. first base runner given up by Lamb in the game after she retired 9 in a row through the first 3 innings.
So second time around in the order. Let's see if Tulsa will make their adjustments here.
Now batting for Tulsa.
Haley Morgan, the sophomore center fielder, was one of only 2 Hurricanes to get a bat on the ball so far against Lamb. She flied out for the second out in the first. This one's on the inside corner to the right-hander, called strike 1.
Yeah, not much you can do with that pitch there. It's just a great location.
Morgan, a sophomore from Durant, Oklahoma. And the 0-1 is in there. Took a little something off that one, and it is no balls and 2 strikes.
Let's see what Tulsa decides to do here. Down 7 in the 4th. You're kind of teetering on that line to where you're kind of trying to go base to base. If they try to force something here, play aggressive, or if they try to just go base to base.
Here comes the 0-2. This one's lined into right field, but there to make the grab is Keene for the first out of the inning. Actually, not Keene. Este stayed in the ball game after she was the pinch runner, and that's her who made the grab out in right field for the first out, and to bring up Imani Edwards, who was a strikeout victim her first time up.
Looks like they're going to bring the corners in, maybe expecting a bunt, slap. Double play still in order here.
Pretty good speed at both places, but Cajun defense has been very solid all year long. I say all year. We're only in our 3rd day of the season. But this is already the 5th game, and that's one of the beauties of tournament play, is you get to play a lot of games in a short amount of time early in the year and get the kinks out.
Oh, absolutely. And you get thrown in the fire right away.
1-1 from Lamb. Edwards is able to hold up, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
And the mindset of
even though the
Cajuns
umpires
on
in the stands don't agree.
Absolutely. The mindset of the Cajuns on defense here, we're going to trade lead runners and we're going to trade runs for outs. We have a big lead going into the back half of the game. Runs, single runs don't matter right now.
Big cut and a miss by Edwards. Count evens up 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cleanup hitter Celeste Wood, the hottest bat on the Hurricane roster, is on deck. Two from Lamb is lifted on the left side, coming hard and making the grab in left field is the left fielder Maddie Hayden. That's one that'll make the older sister happy.
Absolutely. Great play there by Maddie Hayden. See the ball's kind of flared off the end of the bat. She gets a great read off the bat. Laid out, make the catch. Secured it with both hands. Textbook.
So 2 gone now for Celeste Wood. Struck out her first time up after going 4 for 6 in the first game win over UAB today. And she had 8 runs batted in. She also walked once, so she was on base 5 times in that game. Cuts the heart this time. Cajuns will play the Tuesday night game against Nichols. Then they'll have a little bit over a week off to sort of digest the first week work against themselves. And then the Alabama Crimson Tide will be here at Lamson Park the following Thursday. Both of those games will air here on ESPN+.
And I'm sure there'll be a packed house for that one.
You don't know how long the streak can go, but right now the Cajuns have outscored their opponents 43-0 through the first 5 games of the year. And big cut and a miss by Wood, and count evens up 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rhythmic clapping in the stands for the 2-2 pitch, and call third strike for the third out of the inning. Throw down to second did not matter as Wood goes down swinging. Confidence position here to let her try to put that other one in the rearview mirror.
Absolutely, a little chance of redemption.
But she'll face the heart of the Cajun order as Raina O'Neal will lead things off for Louisiana. Breaking ball cuts the inside corner. Call strike 1. Nice pitch first offer.
She's got a bit of a bigger arm swing on her delivery than the starter. So we'll see if that plays a factor in timing and rhythm for the hitters.
O'Neal is the only Cajun without a hit today. And lines this one to left center field, but going back is the center fielder Morgan. She's there to make the grab for the first out. So O'Neal hit it pretty good a couple of times today and has nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that ball's well struck. It's just probably hit a little bit too high in the air. Flattens that out a little bit. She's got a double, maybe a triple.
One gone for Sophie Piskus, who singled and doubled, scored both times. Brown with the Y. That one gets away up high, ball 1. Piskus was expected to redshirt last year, but wound up because of injuries and absences in the lineup. She wound up stepping into action at catcher when Julie Rawls got hurt. Pops this one up into short center field. Again, Morgan's going to come on and make the grab. So 2 up and 2 gone.
Big swing there. You could tell she was on time. She just got it right off the end of the bat. Got under it just a little bit. Didn't quite get the distance that she wanted on it.
So 2 gone for Taylor Roman.
And those are those balls in the outfield that I was talking about earlier. You see a big swing, and as an outfielder, you automatically associate that with probably being hit hard. Big swing, but hit it off the end of the bat. It doesn't really go anywhere. You kind of have to see a couple of those.
First pitch to Roman, up high and away from the catcher Keith. 1 ball, no strikes. Roman 1 for 2. She had an RBI single in the first, grounded out in the third.
She's one of those at any chance. This field plays a lot smaller when she's in the box.
Only played in 6 games last year before she was injured, but had a home run in those first 6 games. As this one took something off of it and down 2 balls, no strikes. And way outside with this one, and now Brown's down 3 balls and no strikes. Roman was the only true freshman to be in the starting lineup for the Cajuns back in 2020 in that COVID-shortened season, which goes to show you how this team's sort of in transition. She was the only starting freshman that year. Today, the Cajuns start 5 freshmen. 3-0 pitch, big cut and a miss. She had 2 home runs during that shortened season when the Cajuns only played the 24 games before everything came to a halt, and then of course had her season unfortunately interrupted last year with that injury. That was during the 3rd inning of the 6th game of the year last year. 3-1 from Brown, foul back into the screen, so she's fought back to fill the count.
You talked about having so many freshmen start and play this weekend, but particularly today you said 5 in the lineup. That's huge in confidence for Coach Jerry Glasgow and his group, knowing that I can put 5 freshmen out in the lineup and I can score still 7 runs and have a really, really good day. There's not many teams that can probably have that same problem.
10 hits already out of the lineup as Roman swings and misses at this one up high, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Mackenzie Brown. We'll go to the 5th. Cajuns still lead it. Toast or slaw at Canes?
Toast.
Toast? Well, you agree with her. Wants to visit Greece or Italy. As her travels when she gets past her softball season is the number 1 for this Cajun staff, and she will begin the 5th inning with first pitch foul back by Kaylin Bearpaw, who grounded out or popped up to second base her first time up. Lamb has retired all but 1 hitter she faced. Leadoff walk to Kylie Norwood in the 4th inning. This one's popped up in the infield. Roman coming up from her first base spot makes the grab for the first out. And you know that has to make the Cajun coaches smile, because Taylor Roman has really improved defensively there at first base.
And that's not as easy of a play as it looks. The ball's not hit extremely high, and it's kind of in no man's land between the pitcher, the first baseman, and the catcher. So she's got to make a really, really quick decision to come full speed in and make that play. Nice play.
Abby Jones, the second baseman, struck out her first time up. This pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. My broadcast partner, Brendan Breaux, found himself at first base unexpectedly early in his Cajun career. Saw that name on the lineup card with a number 3 by it.
I did. It was pretty unexpected.
On the outside corner again for call strike 2. How does that affect a player when you've been used to playing a position and then all of a sudden, you had a chance to work at it a little bit, but all of a sudden you're in a lineup for a real game in a new position?
Well, I always used to pick at coach and tell him that I was a pretty good first baseman too. And I would always take ground balls. I got tired of taking fly balls in the outfield, so I would just go mess around and take some ground balls in some of the downtime that we had. And I would always pick at coach, and he would always pick at me back. So one day we had a scrimmage, and I saw my name in the lineup, and they had a number 3 next to it, told me I was playing first base. And then first game of the year, for the first 2 weeks, better part of 2 weeks, found myself playing at first base. I hadn't played there since middle school, high school. And it was a whole different ball game, but you just gotta go do it. And you gotta understand that everybody's playing the same game that you are, so you just gotta try to have fun with it.
You made the transition. Taylor Roman obviously has done it. And now with 2 outs, Michaela Jackson, the designated player, struck out her first time up back in the 3rd inning and takes the first pitch from Lamb for call strike 1. Lamb has only thrown now 62 pitches as we play in the 5th inning, so she's been very economical with what she's done, even though she's had a lot of the strikeouts.
And if I'm in the box, I'm facing a really, really good power pitcher. I'm trying to jump on one of the earlier pitches that I see that's easy to hit.
Big.
When I say easy to hit, over the white part of the plate.
Big cut by Jackson. Doesn't come up with it. She's down. No balls, 2 strikes.
See, now you're behind, take 2 fastballs, and now you're at the mercy of whatever Kendra Lamb wants to throw you.
She's got the pitch call. Here comes the 0-2. Swing and a miss at the high fastball. 10 strikeouts for Kendra Lamb. And the Cajuns will go to the bottom of the 5th inning, still holding that 7. And don't want to make any assumptions, but the Cajuns can end this one with a run here in the 5th. They already have 2 run rule wins this year. 5 innings against UAB and 6 innings against Texas Southern. That came just last night. But Mackenzie Brown might have something to say about that. She retired 3 Cajuns in a row when she came on in the 4th inning in relief of the starter, Lamas Howell.
You see a couple balls now go to the backstop. You wonder if it's just like a rhythm or a timing or a release point issue.
Is this what you call effectively wild?
It can be, especially if she dots one up right here on the corner.
1-1 pitch, lined well foul. Come on! And Campbell down, a ball and 2 strikes. She's 1 for 2 today, grounded out in the 1st. Had an RBI single in the 3rd during that 4-run uprising.
It's really hard to hit against those pitchers that are quote-unquote effectively wild, because 2 or 3 out of the 5 or 10 pitches that you see could either be right on the corner or they could be
or at
over
your head.
Exactly.
Breaking ball stays down low. Pretty good offering from Brown.
See, that was a great pitch right there. It was a really, really good pitcher's pitch, the bottom part of the zone.
You can see the grin. She wanted that call.
Close to take with 2 strikes right there. So it's she keeps you on your toes, that's for sure.
Here comes the 2-2. This one's a line toward the shortstop. Wicked hop. Nice play by Edwards. The throw, though, is not in time. The speedy Campbell beats it out. And that shows a little bit of the speed she has. That was a hard hit ball, 1 hop, and she was still able to beat it out.
And that's a really tough play too to make. That ball's top spinning, so it's coming at you a little bit harder, and it was hit too hard to where you couldn't really come up and make a play on it. You kind of had to let the hop play you. She made the best play that she could on it, but throwing it flat-footed deep in the hole like that, it's really hard to get a speedy runner out at first.
And we saw the call. She was there by about half a step. So she's got a leadoff single here in the 5th, the 11th hit for Louisiana. Ground ball back to the pitcher. They'll go to second and get the lead runner. Campbell was off on the pitch, but Este with a little nubber ground ball. She'll be at first with the fielder's choice, and Campbell's retired for the first out. So 1 gone for Alexa Langeliers. Langeliers 1 for 2, singled and scored back in the 3rd. And she's still at .429 for the year. And she's already shown the pop she's got in her bat this year. 2 doubles, 2 home runs. And you go back and count, she's got 5 hits, so that means 4 of the 5 for extra bases.
Welcome to Cajun Nation.
Este's off on the pitch. The throw down is going to be not in time, as Este got the foot in just ahead of the throw for her 2nd stolen base of the year.
Yeah, bang bang play there. Throw was a little high. She brings that throw down just a hair. You see she probably gets her out.
Shortstop, the second baseman, rather, Abby Jones, did all she could to try to get the glove down. But now the Cajuns have the game-ending run at second base with 1 out. 2-0 pitch, misses outside. And it's 3 balls, no strikes to Langeliers.
And this is a situation where I would think about giving Langeliers the green light here. If she sees a pitch that she wants, especially being effectively wild, kind of all over the place, I'm always on my toes, I would give her the green light here to swing if she sees a pitch that she likes.
And she had that green light, fouls it back.
Especially with the possibility to end the game early, runner in scoring position. It was a good situation. And no harm, no foul. She fouls it off. You're essentially in the same situation with that same hitter's count, that damage count that you're looking for and you're looking to try to get into as a hitter.
Cajun head coach Jerry Glasgow wants to talk to Langeliers, also brings Estee, the base runner, over. And Maddie Hayden, the on-deck hitter, also getting into this conversation, as you know that the Cajuns would like to end it here because you never know what can happen. It was a very similar situation to our first game today. UAB led that game 10-2 in the 5th inning. They had 2 outs. They were 1 out away from winning it in a run rule fashion. What does Tulsa do? But they come back strong and they end up winning it in extra innings.
Absolutely. I think Coach Glasgow is trying to scheme up a way to end this game right here and now. He knows the resiliency. He's seen it of Tulsa. He's seen what they can do down the lead with their backs against the wall. He wants to end this game right here.
Tuesday night, Cajuns will host Nichols. 6 o'clock Central Time. We'll have it for you right here on ESPN Plus. But if you're in the area, come out to the ballpark. Good crowd on hand today for a Sunday afternoon, even though they had to wait a couple hours. This pitch misses up and away, ball 4. So Langeliers draws the walk. First walk given up by Brown since she came in. And now runners at first and second for Maddie Hayden, who is 2 for 2 today.
Now batting for the Cajuns, number 3, Maddie Hayden.
One of the tricky part is that the double play is now in order with the force runner being at first.
If they turn a double play with Hayden coming out of the box, they'll earn it. She's got really good speed going to first base. Squares to bunt. Misses it inside, and Cajuns will eventually work their way back to the bags as the catcher, Keith, did a good job not turning that loose when you didn't want to throw to first, because then you have a chance of the runner moving up to third base.
Absolutely, and I was about to say something about possibly putting something on here, whether it be a double steal, whether it be a hit and run, to try to get that force away from first base.
The third baseman Skaggs creeping in a little bit. This one's down low, gets away for just a moment, and the runners are able to move up. Good job of following the ball. They saw it get away from Keith's glove for just a second. Both move up.
And that's best case scenario right now. You have both runners in scoring position. You don't have the force in play. Let's say you steal on the prior pitch, one gets thrown out. You still have a runner at second. You still have to get a hit to score the run. So
that'll be ruled a pass ball to move the runners up to second and third base. And now Estee at third with the game-ending run. And the 2-0 pitch to Hayden. Nice little took something off of that one with the changeup, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, that's a good pitch, and that's a really hard pitch to swing at, especially 2-0 like that. You're in that damage count, and you're in that hitter's count that you want to be in. You're looking for a fastball, and then she throws you something soft. It's really, really not a hard pitch to lay off of.
2-1 from Brown. The bunt's down, and it's going to be a good one. The winning run is going to score. Maddie Hayden, her third hit of the game. It's a bunt single, RBI. Estee scores, and the Cajuns take an 8-0 win over Tulsa, and they finish up a perfect Louisiana